Amit was returning home late at night after visiting his friend. The station where he stood was eerily silent. Thick fog surrounded the area, and the cold wind sent shivers down his spine. Only a dim yellow light flickered, casting long shadows across the platform. The rest of the station was swallowed in dark. There was only one other person present, a frail old man dressed in tattered clothes. His eyes looked lifeless, and his face was wrinkled with age. Amit checked his watch. It was 2 a.m. His train was supposed to arrive, but the platform remained eerily still. Just then, through the dense fog, a train slowly emerged and halted at the station. It looked old and rusted, as if it hadn't been used for years. Amit glanced around. There was no ticket collector, no other passenger. Everything felt strange. He wondered if it was a freight train, but before he could think further, the doors opened on their own. A cold gust of air rushed out. The old man stood up without saying a word and boarded the train. Hesitant but curious, Amit followed him inside. Inside, the train was engulfed in darkness, a faint blue light casting eerie shadows along the seats. Dust covered every surface, as if no one had been there for years. Amit looked out of the window. The station had disappeared. The train was now gliding through thick fog, with nothing but pitch-black darkness outside. A sudden chill ran down his spine. He felt as if he was not alone. Turning his head slowly, he saw the same old man sitting right across from him. "Baba, what is this train?" Amit asked, his voice trembling. The old man lifted his head slowly, his eyes gleaming strangely. In a chilling voice, he replied, "This train will never take you back." Amit felt a wave of terror wash over him. He quickly pulled out his phone to check for a signal, but the screen displayed no signal. The train continued to move deeper into the darkness. Through the windows, there were no stations, no lights, just an endless void. Suddenly, the train's lights went out completely. Darkness swallowed everything. Then, a horrifying scream echoed through the compartment. Amit's heartbeat raced. He curled up on his seat, his eyes darting around, searching for the source of the scream, but he could see nothing. Then, he heard it, a heavy, rasping breath just inches away from his ear. Who's there?" he stammered. He felt a cold presence behind him, breathing down his neck. Panicked, he spun around, but there was no one there. Amit rushed toward the train's door and tried to force it open, but it wouldn't budge. He pulled with all his strength, but it felt like the door was fused shut. Suddenly, the train came alive. The dust on the seats began swirling into the air, as if invisible passengers were taking their seats. Slowly, figures started to materialize, half-burnt faces, hollow eyes dripping with blood. Amit's hands went numb. He shut his eyes tightly and prayed for his life. "You shouldn't be here." A whisper slithered into his ears. Shaking, Amit opened his eyes. He was no longer alone. The entire compartment was filled with ghostly passengers, their faces charred, clothes torn, and their empty eyes brimming with hate. Amit realized he was trapped. His heart pounded as he checked his watch, but the hands had stopped moving. The train was speeding up, rushing towards some unknown destination. Suddenly, outside the window, a station appeared, but it was old, abandoned, and crumbling. A rusty sign stood near the tracks, barely readable through the decay. Amit squinted to read it, "The final station of death." His breath caught in his throat. The train jerked to a halt. The ghostly passengers rose from their seats in unison and turned toward him. "Now you will stay with us forever!" Amit screamed and slammed his fists against the door. He pushed with all his might, and then a deafening explosion shook the entire train. At sunrise, the station master was making his morning rounds when he noticed something strange on the platform. Lying unconscious near the tracks was Amit. When Amit regained consciousness, he was trembling violently. He looked at the station master and asked one terrifying question. "How am I still alive?" The station master, confused, asked, "Which train did you come from?" Amit raised a shaking finger, pointing toward the tracks. The station master's eyes widened in shock. "That train derailed and crashed 5 years ago." Amit's blood ran cold. His mind screamed impossible. And then, somewhere in the distance, he heard the old man's eerie laughter echo through the air.